Now, viewers, the tremors of the Israel-Hamas war have trickled across the globe. The horror in Gaza continues to make global headlines. Over 9,700 people have lost their lives since Hamas militants launched a land, sea and air offensive on Israel on the 7th of October. The militant group also took hundreds of hostages, which included several foreign nationals. And 25 days on, the hostage situation remains grim. Now, the militant group Hamas has said that 250 people are being held hostage in Gaza and that they will be released, quote unquote, when conditions are ripe. Now, what are those conditions? We will get to know in the days to come. With the war closing in on the 1 month mark, patience is running thin among Israelis. The time is crucial for the hostages as their lives remain at stake. With Israel initiating its counter-offensive in Gaza, fears are mounting that during the operation, freeing further hostages will be an impossibility. Now, protests are being organized across the world as Israelis demand the authorities for immediate release of the hostages. A rally was held in Australia's Sydney. Protesters gathered in Martin Place in the city centre, where empty prams, shoes, red balloons and photos of Israeli hostages were put on display with banners reading, "Bring them home."
We have 230 kidnapped people, kids, elderly, disabled, sitting now afraid for their life in Gaza. We have over 1,500 people died in an absolute massacre by nothing short of bloodthirsty demons. And we feel that the narrative is changing as we have the obligation to protect our country and our people.
Now, viewers, let's talk about what's happening in Italy first. Rome's Jewish community installed a diorama to symbolize the plight of the hostages. A long table was set up in front of a synagogue with hundreds of empty chairs representing the 200 Israeli hostages. A flyer showing the picture, name and age of hostages hung over every chair. While in front of the Eiffel Tower, shifting focus to Paris here, 30 strollers were placed. Each stroller featured large photographs of child hostages being held in Gaza. The photographs were marked with the word "kidnapped."
So we decided to put here in Paris, in front of the Eiffel Tower, and in Nice and Marseille, in the south of France, 30 strollers with the pictures of the 30 children, Israeli children, hostages of the Hamas. Our goal is to raise the level of public awareness regarding the situation of these children. It is not acceptable to have hostages, and it is even more unacceptable to have children hostages of Hamas. We demand that it has to be a priority of the French diplomacy. It has to be a priority of all Western countries in order to get them free.
Let us now take a look at what's happening in Jerusalem. About 100 activists and families from villages attacked by Hamas set up more than 200 beds to raise the profile of the Israelis held hostage in Gaza. The beds, which symbolize the held captive, were set up outside the Jerusalem mayor's office to call for their release.
All these beds are empty. All these people here are looking for their loved ones, and we don't know nothing. There are babies and children and mother and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers who are missing, who've been kidnapped from their beds, from their houses. There are no soldiers.
Now, over in Israel, in front of the Tel Aviv square, tens of blindfolded teddy bears holding pictures of children taken hostage by Hamas militants were placed. The display was dedicated to some 30 children as young as 9 months old who were abducted by the militant group.
Bring them back, bring them back. I'm sending love to all the families that are waiting for these children and to all the other hostages. The world must wake up and understand today it's Israel, tomorrow it's them. Don't be naive. Terror is not a company for anyone in this world. They don't want us here.
And inside Tel Aviv University, the pictures of more than 1,000 people killed or kidnapped formed a grim exhibit. The photographs were displayed on empty seats of a university hall as the loved ones of the hostages wait for the news of the release and hope for their safe return. Now, over in America, pro-Palestine activists claim they have shut down a Boston company that supplies arms to Israel. It is believed to be Israel's largest weapon supplier. The protesters allege that they have completely halted the business of Elbit Systems. Protesters could be heard chanting, "Elbit Systems has got to go," while some protesters could also be heard telling officers that they are defending the genocide of children. Now over to the UK, where in Birmingham, protesters have thrown a box containing rats into a McDonald's branch while shouting "Free Palestine." And this video has been doing the rounds all over. Of course, you can see it's been doing the rounds on TikTok. And this is perhaps the most bizarre form of protest that we've seen so far in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war. This is a box containing rats, and they are released into a McDonald's. And you can imagine the plight after that. And they are covered in the Palestinian flag colors. Now, in the video, a man can be seen loading 3 boxes of red, white and green rats into the back of a car. He shouted "Free Palestine" before letting the rats loose inside the McDonald's outlet. Customers at the restaurant can be seen screaming and jumping in shock after the rodents are hurled into the branch.